Hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. Grant Stinchfield here. This is Stinchfield, the podcast. You may have heard my man, John Jubilee, in the background. He is my guest today. We're going to talk about this Zoom call. John, first off, welcome to the program.
Hey, well, thanks, Grant. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. It is great to have you on. So I love this phrase from President Trump called Make America Healthy Again. And he's recruited RFK Jr. to help push this Make America Healthy Again. And it's something that really needs to happen. So Tony Robbins, the great self-help guru, had offered up his Zoom room. The Zoom room he offered up can host like 40,000 people on Zoom. And it really is pretty amazing when you think about what he's doing here. So 40,000 people on Zoom, offered in town hall. They're going to have all kinds of doctors, health experts. But here's what I think is interesting. Only Donald Trump took him up on the offer. Now, I'm not sure if Trump's going to be attending. It may be RFK Jr. in his place for this, but Kamala Harris didn't respond. So, John, I've got a clip of Tony Robbins making the offer. Take a listen to this. Here we go.
Hey everyone, it's Tony. Listen, I just want to let you know about a unique opportunity that's coming up. The election's coming up, and I'm not one of those celebrities that tells people who they should vote for. I just want to make sure everyone votes. That's what democracy is all about. But a great democracy is also informed decisions. And so many of you know that during COVID, we built this studio that's state of the art that allows us to interact with people live all over the world simultaneously. Literally, you're larger than life when you come in. And I thought it would be interesting to take this technology and make it available to both the candidates. So I reached out this last 2 weeks to Vice President Harris, and I reached out to former President Trump's group, and we offered for them to have their own town hall. I know they're not going to debate each other, and quite frankly, I didn't want to tit for tat back and forth. What I was looking for is to say, pick an issue you care about, whether it be economy, whether it be our health, any critical issue you think Americans it matters to them. And let's do a town hall where you can bring your own experts in as well. You can bring in whoever you want. I can facilitate or someone else can. I don't care. I just want to make it available to both sides so the American people can have a deeper conversation around the issues that really matter most. And so I've now heard back from former President Trump. And on October 8th, this coming Tuesday, he's going to do a program called Make America Healthy Again, and talking about how we've gotten to where we are health-wise as a nation and how we can turn it around. And he's bringing in Dr. Marty McKay from Johns Hopkins, Dr. Redfield from the CDC, Bobby Kennedy Jr., who will be here, and a list of other experts. And rather than me facilitate it, because again, I'm not here to tell people what to vote for, I just want to go deep on the subjects. We're bringing in Dr. Mark Hyman from the Cleveland Clinic, and I picked him because, again, he works on both sides of the aisle. We have to work together to turn the health around of this nation.
All right, so one of the interesting things is he talks about working together to turn around the health of the nation. John, it's a lot of what you talk about at Energized Health, and I'll just put it this way before I let you respond to all of this. If you don't have your health, if you're dead, none of this matters. We can talk politics, we can talk who's right, who's wrong, what the economy's doing, crime. If you're not healthy and you can't enjoy life, you can't even live, none of this matters, John.
No, Grant, that's right. There are literally thousands, tens of thousands. There's about 64,000 people a day that they go to bed, and the next day, Grant, is the last day of their life. And nobody goes to bed thinking, oh, this is the last time I'm going to lay down in bed because tomorrow's the last day of my life. Nobody thinks like that. But 64,000 a day, it is the last day of their life. And why is it the last day of their life? It's not because they're old, by the way. They're not dying because they're 90 or 100 years old. You know what? They're dying because they're having a heart attack or having a brain aneurysm, or, they're having a severe stroke, and then they get in a coma and then they die. These people are not planning to die. Some of these people have never even been in a hospital. I had a good friend, 47 years old, Grant. I sat with him in a coffee shop in Franklin, Tennessee. And I said, Rob, I can tell you have high blood pressure just looking at your face. This is my world. I go, brother, you got to do something about that high blood pressure. And he smiled and laughed, and he, patted me on the leg and patted me on the back laughing. He goes, I know, John, you want everyone to do that protocol. And he said, listen, man, I'm really moving and shaking in the world. When I get back from this next worldwide tour, he said, I'm going to do your protocol. I said, Rob, you got a wife and 6 kids. I said, brother, don't wait till you do your next worldwide trip. Mm-hmm. And do you know that 12 weeks later, he spoke in front of 11,000 people, and he went to lunch and he dropped dead. He dropped dead because high blood pressure is one step away from a heart attack or stroke or a brain aneurysm. And he had the third. He had a brain aneurysm at 47 years old, never being sick one day. So Grant, when you say that, you know what? I really do want to challenge people. I guarantee you, my friend never thought that was going to be his last day on earth. He never thought that was going to be his last lunch. But now 6 children are without a father, left his wife a widow. Someone else is going to walk those kids down the aisle. Don't be that. Yeah. Don't be that person. Do something proactively to make sure that's not you, and that is not going to happen to you. Even the airlines teacher, right? When those oxygen masks drop, you better put yours on first, because you're not going to be around to help anybody else,
right,
if you don't take care of yourself first. So people that think they're being all noble because you're taking care of your family or you're being a good provider, that's not going to help if you're dead.
Yeah.
I just had another friend in Nashville, Tennessee, another guy, ironically, from Columbia, Tennessee, 57 years old, 11 children, 13 grandchildren, 57 years old, last day of his life. So, these things really happen to real people every single day, but it is preventable, Grant.
Yeah. I think God clearly does things in my life that help me. And so you would come on the Real America's Voice show, and I was going through some times. Look, I was always in pretty good shape, right? But I was going through a point where I didn't feel great. My father said, hey, son, you look a little hefty. And when he said that to me, man, I was like, well, I don't like to look hefty. So then you come on, things fall into place. You talk about high blood pressure. My blood pressure would be high one time I check it, then it would be normal, then it would be high, and then it would be normal, and then it'd be normal, and then it'd be high, and it was all over. And there were times where I could feel my blood pressure high. So then I go on this Energized Health Program, and I change how I eat a little bit, not really change what I eat a little bit, but change how I eat. I get myself hydrated, and that's where the science comes in, and you guys. And I dropped 15 pounds in about 3 weeks. I'm now 6-7 weeks into this program. And my blood pressure, I'm not having the high blood pressure that I had before. And it is about a point where I reached in my life, it sounds like the 47-year-old, where I knew I better do something, because I'm not feeling like I used to feel, even though I probably was in better shape than most of my friends. But now I feel freaking great, John.
Well, I'm so glad, Grant. And the great thing is look, everybody can do the right thing. The right thing is not some crazy diet. It's not some crazy workout plan. We were designed to be healthy in a way that, everyone can get healthy. And, I know you know this, but I'm just sharing for, everyday people. Look, we have people in their 70s, 80s, 90s doing this program. So when people say, well, can I do it? I'm like, well, you know what? We got 90-year-olds. We got people that started in a wheelchair, by the way, many people that started in a wheelchair. I just recently had a woman, she's in a wheelchair. She lost 37 inches. Now this woman, when I say she's in a wheelchair for life because of an issue in her spine.
Wow.
That is incurable, but she still lost 37 inches in a wheelchair, came off all her medication. She had horrible facial acne and skin distortions, because of all these medications and everything. And so, but one of the greatest quotes that she said, Grant, was, she said, I lost 37 inches. She said, my skin looks 20 years younger. She said, but the biggest thing I lost was a really bad attitude. She actually came and spoke with me at an event. I was speaking at a convention center, and that woman came and she spoke in that wheelchair and shared her story of how she was transformed.
The reality is it does turn around your mental well-being. We say it's a mind, body, soul program. all of these things involved. And the website is under John's name there, energizedhealth.com/grant. If you want more information about this, energizedhealth.com/grant. And it encompasses all of these things. It's really simple, all backed by science, and it's great stuff. But I'll ask you this, because we've got this election coming up. Rarely does anyone talk about health issues other than Medicare and Medicaid, right? That's what everybody wants to talk about, or prescription drug costs. And I would offer up that if we could get America where you didn't need to be on prescription drugs, wouldn't that be better? You're not paying any money for prescription drugs. And what happens? Kamala Harris says no to Tony Robbins to use the Zoom room to talk about this issue of health. I'm not sure they care. I really don't, because maybe there's no more important issue out there than health.
Yeah, well, I'm raising my hand. I'm going on 28 years, not one medical doctor visit for 28 years. And so the reality is, Grant, if everybody was right on our side of the fence of what we teach at Energized Health. And by the way, again, I'll share another quick story because it's not just me. There was a gentleman from California, 82 years old, and he called his son and daughter and said, I'm ready to go to heaven. You guys need to come. I'm going to set my house in order. And they said, Dad, we just did this Energized Health program. Would you please just try this before you just check out? And he said, well, I got nothing to lose because I truly am ready to just go to heaven. And so at 82 years old, he gets on the protocol, and he's one of those shoebox guys, Grant. These guys have all their medication in a shoebox, and they take the shoebox and they take he was taking like 15 medications, multiple times a day. And that was his whole life, was the shoebox of all these medicines. Well, bottom line, guess what? He gets off all of his medication. Gets off all of his medication, says he felt better than he did when he was 40. Now realize he's 82 years old. And then during COVID, I call him up. I became, personal friends with this guy. And so I'd call him up, check in on him. And so I called him one day. I said, Larry, I said, what are you up to? He goes, John, this COVID, man, everybody's afraid to go out of their house. He says, I'm feeding the old people. He says, I'm feeding the old people, man. I'm taking them food. I'm taking them lunches. I'm taking them groceries. And I said, Larry, can I ask you a question? When you're 82 years old, who are the old people? Who are the old people, dude? But listen, this guy couldn't drive a car. Like when he had first started the protocol, his kids had taken away his car keys because he was not functional. Mm-hmm. He was not safe to drive a car. Now, look, that was during COVID, right? Do you know that now, 4 or 5 years later, that dude's driving all over California. He's going to visit his kids. Now he's 87 years old. Well, he's 87 years old, rocking the world, man, and on no medication.
Look, it has to do with the process that you've laid out there. There's common sense involved in it too, right? Like you start to clean up how you're eating and what you're putting in your body. That's important also. It reminds me of my grandfather. My grandfather was 85. Now, he didn't have your program, but he was Italian. He ate pretty healthy, and he would do yoga and Pilates all the way till he was 85. And he was delivering Meals on Wheels, my grandpa Minervini, who was captain in the Marine Corps, Guadalcanal and Peleliu. And I would laugh so hard, just like, you're bringing Meals on Wheels to the senior citizens, like you're older than half of them. But I hope we can all be the same way. All right. Hey, speaking of what you put in your body, okay, I saw this video, and I actually thought it was hilarious. We definitely don't want to put the cats and dogs like the Haitians do in Springfield, Ohio, into our body. That's not part of the Energized Health Program. No. Is the cats and dogs. But check this out, and then I'll get your comment.
In our country, they're eating the
artificial dyes.
They're eating the
formaldehyde.
They're eating the
McDonald's French fries.
This is what's happening, and it's a shame.
If your grocery store has a health food section, what does that make the rest of the store?
They're eating the
pesticides.
They're eating the
GMOs.
They're eating the
Cheetos and Oreos.
This is what's happening, and it's a shame.
If a foreign nation did this to our country, we would consider an act of war.
They're eating the
MSG.
They're eating the
BHT.
They're eating the
buckets of KFC.
This is what's happening, and it's a shame.
Where's the outrage? Where is the outrage?
They're eating the
ultra-processed food,
they're eating the
Seed oils.
they're eating the
forever chemicals.
this is what's happening, and it's a shame.
Children prefer this over this, just as they would prefer cocaine over sugar.
This is what's happening, and it's a shame.
So it is a shame. Whoever put that together was really pretty brilliant about it. But I'll give you an example of this. He held up what the kids were eating, and I think it was probably some sugar cereal. My very special lady friend today calls me, and her kids are in the car on the way to school. Her 9-year-old never talks on the way to school. He's just like, doesn't want to go to school, and he never talks. And today he was all talkative, and I said, how is he all talkative and talking to me? Well, he had 2 yogurt, the things you squish into your mouth. I said, that's all sugar. I said, you jacked him up on 2 things of the squishy yogurt things, and he had a donut, and lo and behold, he said, but this becomes addictive. Sugar is the killer. And then you mention all those other things with the formaldehydes and the pesticides and the everything. What did RFK Jr. say? It would be an act of war if a foreign nation was doing this to us.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Grant. I lived in Zurich, Switzerland for 2 years, and McDonald's in Zurich, Switzerland there's McDonald's there, but do you know it's illegal? It's illegal in Switzerland to put the nitrates and the chemicals in the food. So you can actually eat healthy McDonald's in Switzerland because the government protect their people. They don't allow the pesticides. They don't allow the chemicals. Even if you're a McDonald's coming in, you have to abide by their rules. They are going to protect their people from the chemicals and from those types of things. And I want to quickly encourage people, look, guys, this is not about eating food that doesn't taste good. You can make healthy choices. You can have steak and potato. You can have your chicken and you can have pasta and meatballs and you could have tacos, but there's a way to intentionally make sure you're eating the healthy one. And by the way, the cereal thing they were holding up was in a foreign country, you can't use the artificial dye in the cereal. So you can still eat the cereal, but you can't have artificial dye in it. But in America, they'll put these bright colored dyes in it, which makes a child's brain activate that they want that bright artificial dye, which is poisoning their body. So it's not that you can't eat a lot of great food, guys, that tastes healthy. Do you know you can actually eat a healthy pizza? You truly can. You just have a whole wheat flour crust and put your healthy ingredients on your pizza. You can eat every single food. God gave you taste buds because food tastes good. Yeah. But we really have to be intentional, and especially in America, because they are putting all of these poisons in the food. We have to have knowledge.
I love that you pointed out that you can eat, just about everything you were eating before with some slight changes, because that's been the benefit for me. I'm not hungry on this. I don't feel like I'm dieting. In fact, I eat more than I've ever eaten before, though I'm more intentional about my calories that I'm intaking. But it's been an amazing process. You brought up McDonald's. I wish I would have pulled the clip. I saw a clip on Instagram of a guy who has his Big Mac, and he filmed it on day 1, then he filmed it after 7 days, and he filmed it after 2 weeks, and he filmed the Big Mac after a month. And do you know, after a month, the Big Mac looks exactly the same as it did after the first day? What are they putting on or in that food that would preserve it to look fresh? He said, as he says it even smells fresh, and it's a month-old hamburger.
Well, and conversely, think about if you take a healthy banana and you did the same thing, it would be rotten, right? Because real food deteriorates. Real food deteriorates. It would happen to an apple. It would happen to grapes. It would happen to a banana. It would happen to a piece of real meat that didn't have preservatives in it, right? It gets rotten because it's alive, and then it gets more dead, right? So So anybody, it really is what I call uncommon common sense. It's uncommon common sense of learning how can we just make some better choices. Now here's the other great thing is, look, even while people are learning those things, Grant, the power of intracellular hydration is if you do have some bad things in your body, intracellular hydration, because men should be 60% hydrated, women 55. When you have all that hydration, it's like a river in your body. And river, you could throw trash in a river, Grant, and a river will flush it out.
Yeah,
the river will just take that trash down the stream. And that's part of what intercellular hydration does, is it flushes all these chemicals and toxins out of the human body.
Well, I think before I started the Energized Health Program that I was perennially dehydrated. I think I was in a state of dehydration for just about every waking hour. Now I've reached that 60% level, so I'm like 60.5, something like that, and I've been holding steady there. And I do think that that's one of the reasons why I'm feeling great and why my skin is better. So what I want to do is tell people where they can go find out more about the Energized Health Program with John Jubilee, who of course is the founder, and his lovely wife. They're there. They've got coaches there. There's recipes there. There's daily workout there. There's individual calls. There's everything you need. There's the weekly Zoom calls. Everything you need to be successful is right there for you. No crazy workouts. Yes, you got to work out a little bit, but not crazy. You don't kill yourself. Yes, the diet is a little bit different than probably what you're used to, but it's not crazy like you got to change your lifestyle around. You really don't, and I mean that. This is, when I say the secret's in the simplicity and the science, I mean it. Energizedhealth.com/Grant. Energizedhealth.com/Grant. The cellular hydration and the science behind that, as John was just explaining, is really tremendous. And I think part of me, I don't know if my skin looks good to all of you out there, but I feel like my skin is better than it was before. And so I urge you to give them a try and just get in touch with them. Go to that website and they'll get back to you and walk you through the program. All right, John, before I let you go, do you want to hear a little RFK Jr.?
Love to.
So he was on with Charlemagne the God. Do you know this guy, Charlemagne? He's kind of a clown, but he's a real powerful voice in inner city communities as far as radio goes. I saw news this morning. He said America First policies make more sense. Now, by no means is this guy a Republican. I'd be shocked if he came out and said he was going to endorse or vote for Trump. He said some horrible things about Trump. But he is waking up to this stuff, the sex change craziness. He says this is all ridiculous. And then he has RFK Jr. on. So all of this is good for us because he's bringing these voices and these thought processes into communities that typically were underserved when it comes to that. So here's RFK Jr. on with Charlemagne.
I'm concerned about health of children and the deteriorating, this explosion of chronic disease in our kids. When my uncle was president, 6% of American children had chronic disease, 60% do today. No country in the world is as sick as our country. And as our children are getting wiped out, 77% of American kids are ineligible for military service because they're either obese or they have chronic disease diagnosis. Our kids are the sickest kids in the world. Fertility is dropping in our children. Teens today have 50% of the testosterone and 50% of the sperm count as kids did a generation ago. Girls now hit puberty at 8 years old in our country, as young as 8. The average is 10 to 13. 70 years ago, it was 6 years older. Our kids are hitting puberty younger than any children in the world. So our fertility is dropping, the kids are fatter, the depression, the mental illness that is now exploding in our country is all related to chronic disease and to our food, to poison food.
Well, he's right about that. He didn't mention that our politicians are cheating on their wives more than ever before either, but that's probably another story. But he's right on all of that, right? I mean, it's about what we put in the food. And I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but do families ever do this program? Do they ever get kids and that kind of thing? Or do you stay away from kids for this stuff?
No, I'm glad you said that. Actually, we're like Chick-fil-A on Tuesday night. Kids eat free. So actually, when the parents sign up, we sign up the kids for free.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes,
Okay.
we've had thousands of children do the program. The kids are always free. If the parents are willing to invest in their health, and we let those kids do it so they can learn the healthy habits from a young age. And Grant, autism has also, he didn't mention this, but autism has skyrocketed. It is absolutely skyrocketed.
Wow.
Like 100 times, what it was 70 years ago. And autism is partially tied to dehydration of the brain. The brain is mostly water. Water conducts electricity. The brain is electrical. So when you put more hydration into a child's brain or to an adult's brain, the brain has neuroplasticity to create new neural pathways, which can help these children overcome their autistic symptoms, that they have. And the same thing in adults. About 1 in 4 adults is on a psychotic medication for depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, all these types of psychotic. It's 1 in 4, Grant. Every fourth person you see today is on a psychotic medication. And by just getting some intracellular hydration into their brain, creating the neuroplasticity, they can actually have full connectivity, double their brain synapses and neurotransmitter activity of their brain, and get off those psychotic medications.
Wow. It really is quite amazing what you're doing and transforming lives now for decades doing this. That's got to be a huge benefit just for you on feeling great about paying it forward with all of this stuff and the lives you're changing and the stories that you consistently tell every week when you come on here. I'm just honored and proud to be involved with you guys and a client who I believe I've had great success with this, and I found it really easy. I really did. This was not a lot of work for me. And I feel as good as I've ever felt, John.
I'm so glad. No, I'm so glad. And Grant, thank you for paying it forward and sharing with people so that other people can have what you have.
Well, I truly believe if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others? If you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of a business? How are we going to trust you to take care of things that are so precious in the world? If you don't take care of your own body, God only gives you one. And so I think right now it starts today, energizedhealth.com/Grant. Go and inquire, even if you're not sure, but take the step to just go inquire about it and go to the website. And John, I'll give them all the details. And I appreciate you coming on the program today.
Hey, and just a little fun fact, since it's a Make America Healthy Again Day with Donald Trump and RFK sharing all that, just tell people a little fun thing to do today is go to makeamericahealthyagain.com and see what pops up on there. Makeamericahealthyagain.com and see what pops up on there.
The quintessential entrepreneur John Jubilee is Make America Healthy Again. I'll bet you I know a couple guys who wish they had that website, but don't. John Jubilee owns it. MakeAmericaHealthyAgain.com, or you can go to EnergizedHealth.com/Grant. Cellular hydration, learn about it, learn what it is, learn details of what this program is that we're talking about, and take your life back. Again, it starts today. One simple step. Go to that website, MakeAmericaHealthyAgain.com or EnergizedHealth.com, and take that step to taking back your life. All right? It depends. Your family depends on you. You depend on you. Take the step. All right, folks. Stinchfield's Army rolls. I appreciate you being with me today. We'll see you on the Real America's Voice show tonight at 7 p.m. Don't forget that Zoom call with Tony Robbins, Donald Trump, RFK Jr., and a whole host of other medical professionals. The link, if you go to Tony Robbins' Twitter page, I should have put it up in the Rumble chat, but I'll get it for you guys and I'll tweet it out. But if you go to Twitter and look for Tony Robbins, all the information is right there. You can still sign up for that Zoom call. Should be interesting tonight. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon.